Hello, my name is Emily, as you may or may not know, and today we are going to be talking about the concept of the fangirl and also some of the stigma surrounding being a fangirl. Now, I'm sure that most of you are familiar with the term, but in case you aren't, Miss Merriam-Webster, this diva, defines it as a girl or woman who is an extremely A girl or woman who is an extremely or overly enthusiastic fan of someone or something. So, pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes, people use the word fangirl as a verb to describe like a temporary reaction to something, right? Like, oh, I saw Paul Mescal in Lululemon and I fangirled. Past tense. But for some people, it is not used as a verb because it is not an action that passes. It is something that you are. Something that encompasses your entire being. It is a lifestyle, okay? So, giving noun. Oh my god. I feel like a Gen Z English teacher. So this is totally boots the house down giving noun vibes right now. Is this giving adverb slay to anyone else? So when was the phrase fangirl first used? So according to Manual Red Eye, they stated that the term fangirl was used as early as 1943 by A.P. Herbert in his book Holy Deadlock to describe young women obsessed with musicians. The term amassed popularity during the era of the Beatles. The press would say the girls had Beatlemania due to their passionate support for the band and their music. So yes, although this term did not start with the Beatles, during the Beatles' prime, we could definitely see the power of the boy band, right? A man with a guitar is a dangerous thing. Just ask anyone who's been to a house party.
I love them. I don't care what anybody thinks. I love the Beatles for them, and I'll always love them. Even when I'm 105 and an old grandmother, I'll love them. I love you, Paul, and please come to the window so I can just see you. I saw you smoking before, and I kissed the limousine you looked out of. But I love you, and I want you, Paul. Please look at it. And Ringo, you can look at it, too, because I like you.
We were told, as soon as we got here last night by the police, don't look out of the windows and don't wave. And if we do that, then we get the police chief coming up and saying, well, we're finished, boys. And he goes away and he won't look after us, so we can't do anything.
We came here at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 to see them, and all they do is push you farther and farther away, and then they don't even let you see them.
And while, of course, we have plenty of obsessive and adoring female fans for other female artists, most notably Taylor Swift, the phrase fangirl is mainly associated with women who are obsessed with male artists. We have seen the obsessive fangirl phenomenon most recently with BTS and other Korean boy groups, One Direction, Justin Bieber, the Jonas Brothers, 5 Seconds of Summer, and so on. As more and more boy groups or man groups, whatever you want to call them, come out, and with the passage of time, we have been able to make some social observations when it comes to parasociality, especially when there is this fangirl dynamic where there's almost a romantic longing or idolization that is very much so one-sided. Boy bands' images can be very curated, when it comes to the band as a whole, or even when it comes to each individual member within a group. You can have a member who's the bad boy, a member who is the boy next door, the class clown, and so on and so on. And I'm sure not all boy bands are like this, but when it comes to marketing, right, they're almost curated in a way where it's like, no matter what type of teenage girl you are, you'll find a member that you feel attracted to or that is, a part of your fantasy. Like I have such a thing for bad boys, or I love a smart, nerdy boy. And it's like, well, baby, we got them all. So as a boy group, one of your main selling points almost seems to be your ability to curate a fantasy between yourselves and your fans. And that's why, you have these tween and teen girls shaving before they go to a concert just in case the, lead drummer wants to be on a list that, trust me, many people do not want to be on. This is very true for the Korean boy groups because and it goes for the, female groups too, there are literal dating bans put in place to, uphold this fantasy between the consumer and the artist. And it can create this obsessive dependent parasocial relationship that we often associate with the idea of the fangirl. The behavior of these fan bases even made for different terms for each artist to sort of convey the obsessive nature of their fans, right? Obviously, I briefly mentioned before, Beatlemania, Bieber fever, One Direction infection. I mean, we need to get the World Health Organization on this. Hey guys, so the results did come back, and I do have some unfortunate news. As you know, this has been sweeping across the nation.
The swine flu?
No, I fear that it is more widespread than that. This is a horrible case of beiber fever.
Oh, I could have just self-diagnosed that. What is that? What is that? I thought you said that her temperature was normal.
With this condition, symptoms appear differently than with a typical fever. Here, let me show you. All right, I'm going to show you an image, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Justin Drew Bieber winning 2010 AMAs for Best Artist of the Year.
And this one?
Justin Drew Bieber first drum set received at age 2, Ontario, Canada. Favorite color purple. 4 siblings.
She's tweaking.
Honey, what the hell are you talking about? You're scaring me.
It'll be all right, okay? And how about this one? If you are a fangirl, you are not a casual fan, okay? You are putting in blood, sweat, tears, effort, money into proving yourself within the fandom. Your room is plastered in posters. You have dolls, cardboard cutouts, all the magazines, the CDs, X, Y, and Z, ABC 1, 2, 3. You know all the songs, the lyrics, what albums they belong to, which member is singing which part, the haircuts that each member had during that era of time. Like Zayn has a hair strand that falls at a 67-degree angle at 2 minutes and 37 seconds of the music video that they posted on September 17th, 2013. And then everyone else is like, yeah, I already knew that. And although I personally have more or less retired my fangirl days, which, listen, there's no correct age to have to shift your interests or anything, but let's just say I'm being kicked off my parents' health insurance soon. So I don't have time to be consuming as much media as I used to. But listen, okay, I used to have a Fifth Harmony Stan account, and I would have one of those stupid usernames that was like Lauren Haregi's elbow or something dumb like that. But no, the Fifth Harmony to lesbianism to girl K-pop group stan, it is really a straight shot. It's a straight shot, and you're getting shot out from a cannon. It's fast. It's like I didn't even know what happened. If you showed me a screenshot from a Twice music video, or honestly, a lot of different girl groups, if you showed me a screenshot of their music video, I feel like I would be able to tell you what song it is and maybe the hair colors of most of the girls in the group, even if they're not in the screenshot, okay? And that's because I was putting in that elbow grease. I was putting in the hours to have an unhealthy obsession, I guess. And I've mentioned this in my video about stan culture, and while fandom is mostly, I think, a good form of community, I also think that there's a slight competitiveness almost, and not only with female-related fandoms, but also male Star Trek, Star Wars, stereotypical men, obviously women like that stuff too, but stereotypical male fandoms type stuff, where there's sort of this, you want to be the person who is the most obsessed, or the person who knows the most niche fun fact, because it proves that you are a better fan than other people. For me personally, when I was a young warthog, I was obsessed with the Jonas Brothers. I had big crushes on them. Obviously that was before I discovered that the pendulum was soon to be swinging the other way. But I really like Nick. I really like Joe. I also really like Kevin, but they're all great. But I really, really was trying to take a one-way train to diabetic town. I loved Nick. 10-year-old me, yeah, let's just say that if 10-year-old me was able to end up with Nick Jonas, there never would have been an insulin shortage, okay? I would have intervened. But I have a vivid memory of being at Ocean City, the beach, on the boardwalk, and in all the stores, they were selling a bunch of Jonas Brothers merch because they were so huge at the time. And I remember seeing a girl sort of grab the shirt that I had just put down, and then I was like, oh, so you like the Jonas Brothers? And she kind of looks at me in a weird way, and yeah, I love them. And I remember in my head, my instinct, I wanted to be I love them more. Well, I love them more, so I don't know what you're talking about. I looked at the shirt first. Why are you talking to me like that? And literally, I'm not joking. In my head, I genuinely thought to myself, there is no way on earth that this girl likes them more than me, because I know my heart and soul and mind, and it's just not a competition. I just know that I like them more. And it's like, why? Why? Can't we just sing Kumbaya, you know? So sorry, I guess. A bit of a bitch moment from my 10-year-old self. But I also remember my friends in middle school who were obsessed with One Direction. And while they bonded over their obsession for One Direction, there were times where there was like a weird tension and like a competitive tension. Obviously not sexual. I feel like I don't have to clarify that, even though I just did. Where one of them would be like, oh, okay, so you don't know which one of Niall's canine teeth is a bit more crooked? Interesting. Thought you called yourself a fan, but... And now looking back in hindsight, it seems hard for me to decipher what is stemming from genuine obsession versus just the need to show off and want to appear as though you are the #1 fan, right? It's like, do you really care about which one of Niall's canine teeth is more crooked, or do you just want to be able to know that information so you can say it? Because I'm not exaggerating, okay? People were memorizing blood types, their parents' names, their siblings' names, what hospitals they were born in, how many hair follicles they have on each of their forearms, okay? It's like they were training for this or something. So what do you two runts know about being in the army? Well, ma'am, when I was first recruited, I was targeted for being low income. Not that army! Ma'am, yes ma'am, I'm sorry that... I don't give a fuck about that army. I'm talking about the more important one. BTS Army. Can I get a sarong hey? Sarong hey. Now drop down and give me 20. Facts about Jungkook. Sergeant Jungkookie is my hubby. Go. Maknae of the group. Born in Busan. 5'10". Born September 1st, 1997. Hair. He has hair. He is a boy. That was fucking pathetic. Go to the toll-breaking station, now! Are you serious? Hey, you've been going down the fangirl ranks so fast, I'm starting to think it's your favorite place. Now go! God, I'm such a fangirl failure. Stupid! Ma'am, I do believe she only has one good toe left, so in order for her to be the best fangirl, Shut up, Sergeant Need V in my V! Okay? God, I fucking hate you. Both of you go to the toll-breaking station now! God damn it! Now, it is no surprise that with this type of parasocial relationship, especially when there is this sort of intense one-sided romantic attraction going on, that it can make for an unhealthy dynamic that can harm the artist. There are many cases of stalking, death threats, harassment, and mistreatment from supposed fans that paint the entirety of fangirls in a negative light. Some examples being Justin Bieber being subject to stalking and inappropriate fan behavior. April 15th, 2019, a woman got onto Justin and Hailey's recently purchased property and started talking on the phone. When the police approached her, she said she lived in the house. The woman was subsequently cuffed and apprehended. This comes a few weeks after someone barged into Justin's hotel room and had to be escorted out by security. October 23rd, 2017, a woman wandered onto Justin's property 3 times in 1 week looking for him. Harry Styles had a woman travel all the way from Brazil, send him 8,000 cards in less than a month describing sexual urges towards him. He also had an instance where a woman forced her way into his home in North London, where she destroyed a vase and then assaulted a woman working at the house. She was previously found guilty of stalking him and was banned from going within 250 meters of him in 2019. A notorious stalker or sasaeng for the group NCT has had multiple instances of stalking the group, flaunting it, and even taking videos from inside one of the members' hotel rooms, which she had broken into. This type of terrible and unacceptable behavior is not representative of all female fans, and I think most people know that. But it does add to the stigma of being a fangirl, and it does sort of add fuel to the all girls are crazy and irrational fire, which has been burning for quite some time. As we all know, there is a lot of ingrained misogyny in society, so it doesn't surprise me if people were to loop in this type of behavior with the entirety of fangirls, because some people, they just expect girls and women to not be able to control their emotions. I mean, not too long ago, whenever women were showing emotion in a way that men didn't like, they were just diagnosed with hysteria. So clearly, patriarchal society has associated unregulated emotion with women and girls. But most female fans who do consider themselves stans or fangirls, they would highly disapprove of this behavior. They would not condone it. If you are a real fan, you want what is genuinely best for the artist, okay? You don't want to be grouped in with these people. Oh, hey. Am I the only one here? Yes, but I'm sure more people are coming. I invited like tons of people. Are you the organizer for the fan meetup? Yes, I sure am. I have loved Buffly McMahon since he first started singing. Oh, yeah, same. Oh, so you've also seen the very first time he sang at 2 years old in his old Nebraska home via VHS family tapes that were anonymously leaked online? No, I meant just like his first single. Oh, okay, I see. So you're a little bit of a late bloomer fan. Gotcha. That's okay. I have a copy of the VHS tapes if you want. Or it's not really a copy, I took it from his mother. That's okay. I have to go to the bathroom suddenly. Where is the bathroom? Yes, it's around the corner and to the right. Okay, thank you. Shh, we have guests. Oh my God. Girl, you're so crazy. Sorry, what is that? Oh, it's me and Buffly's baby. Or rather, the practice baby, before the real one. You don't have one? No. So you don't want Buffly to father your children? I just like his music. Okay. That's fucking weird. Oh, what the hell? Oh my God, Buffly! Hey, baby! How the hell did you get in my house again? Don't you remember the restraining order? Your house? Yeah, my house! Our house! No! Babe! What is going on? You had us break into his house? I'm calling the fucking cops, okay? You guys are making me so crazy! Okay, this is normal fan stuff. No! But unhinged obsessive fan behavior is not just reserved for girls. In fact, many men also exemplify these unhealthy fangirl behaviors, and arguably to an even worse extent. And since there has been a more noticeable stigma attached to being a fangirl, people have been able to step back and take a look at the double standard, right? Men also can exhibit these tendencies, but they aren't ridiculed for it in the same way that women and girls are. And that's because of a little recurring guest star in life that we like to call misogyny. Welcoming to the stage, Miss Ajoni, and unfortunately, the crowd went wild. And again, everything I said, it applies both to men and women, right? These people are clearly not well. They are mentally ill, and that's not, necessarily attributed to either gender. They are just unwell. But here are some examples of male fans committing not only inappropriate, but violent acts towards artists due to their obsession with them. A man paid 2 other men to exterminate and castrate Justin Bieber with hedge clippers because he was upset that Bieber had snubbed his attempts to make contact. Hello? Bjork stalker fans sent her a letter rigged with sulfuric acid made to explode and harm the singer. And notably, we have the tragedy of Christina Grimmie's untimely death by the hands of an obsessed fan, in which a friend of the culprit believed he spent most of his waking hours watching Christina on YouTube, as well as constantly monitoring her social media accounts. And then Nyan from Twice has had a consistent stalker who actually vlogs his stalking and is convinced that they are supposed to be together romantically. And it's like, okay, I have a better chance with her than you, I think. And obviously these are all horrible things, and I'm sure there are so many more instances, but I can't, if I were to be naming them all, then this video would be 3,000 hours long. Now, obviously these are really extreme and horrific instances of fanboy behavior, right? But we can also see more average day-to-day fangirl type behaviors in men when we look at male sports. Many men are engaged in sports in a similar way that teenage girls are engaged with their favorite artists. They have merch, posters, spend money on them, and are keeping up with the latest happenings. Regardless of your gender, the power of community when being a fan of something is very real. You see a lot of people coming together, sometimes men specifically for sports, right? And then you also see that with women and girls who are fans of specific bands. You know, after Liam Payne's death, sorry if that's a bit triggering for any of you guys to hear, but after his death, I feel like I wasn't even a fan of One Direction, honestly, but that shocked me a lot. And I think seeing a lot of other people's reactions to it, specifically women who are in my age demographic, and the way that they always say like people come together in tragedy and stuff like that, and I know that he was like a questionable person, but regardless of those things, it is true that there was such a community around One Direction, and I think recently we've been able to see how strong that community is, and the band is not even together still, right? I think that there is something to be said about that type of community regardless of gender. But why is it when we see a crowd of men cheering at a sports game, it's deemed as less hysterical than a crowd of girls screaming at a boy band concert? You know, both are forms of expressing excitement and invested in an interest, and forms of, you know, creating community and comfort, but only one of these things is considered vapid, dumb, or silly. And while some people might argue that it is irrational behavior to fantasize about marrying a boy band member, I also think that it's irrational behavior to be causing property damage and essentially looting an entire town because a man that you don't even know couldn't catch a ball correctly. Men will cry, break TVs, get into physical fights, and have full-on temper tantrums over sports. I'm not joking. One time when I was on the subway, I saw a guy get jumped, beat up like an egg, okay? And it was like 5 versus 1 because he was wearing a Patriots jersey after the Eagles had won the Super Bowl, and he was like upset that his team lost, and then the other group of men on the train were like, we're gonna give you something else to be upset over. Your broken tibia. I don't mean to dismiss anyone's emotions or dismiss their interests, but is it really that serious? You know, is it worth getting the cops called on you because some stranger who you don't know, like, wasn't running fast enough? There are even multiple articles and resources for women on how to comfort the men in their life after their team loses a football game, because that is how upset they get. It literally fucks up the feng shui of the entire house. If your man's football team loses, you have to start burning sage. It's clear that, you know, some men are very emotional, especially when it comes to sports, just as much, if not even more, than teenage girls when it comes to their favorite bands. Or maybe, you know, it's similar amounts of emotion, but it's just sort of executed differently. Like with fangirls, you might be screaming, crying, and fainting, things of the sort. And then with men, you will probably also get the screaming and crying, but also causing damage to themselves, the people around them, and property.
Fuck, I lost too much money on that shit! You fucking shit! It's just a game! It's just a game!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Like, if I were a flat screen TV and the man of the house, his football team just lost, let's just say I'm saying my final goodbyes. And listen, obviously everything I said for fangirls also applies here. The average sports fan, I don't think is having this like super explosive reaction. To be honest, listen, I'm wearing a jersey, but I do not give a fuck about sports. You know what? This jersey doesn't even mean anything. It just says New York 95. That's not a football team. But all I'm saying is that if you are going to stigmatize fangirls, either get rid of that energy or keep it for everybody. There are definitely negative and unhealthy aspects to fangirl culture. That is completely true. But the same can also be said on behalf of men. My name is Officer Wang, okay? I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Whatever. Nothing matters anymore. Great.
gonna use that. Did something happen to make you feel like you had to do this?
You would not understand.
Well, I can try.
This rage just came over me. It's like a monster has taken over my body and I can't control it after the travesty that I just saw with my own 2 eyes.
And what was this travesty?
The Cowboys lost again! God damn it!
Like the football team?
See? You don't understand because you're a woman, okay? Imagine if they blew up the mall and you couldn't shop anymore, okay? That's how I feel.
You did blow up the mall. That's why you're here.
Well, can you blame me? My football team lost.
We are blaming you. Pretty much entirely. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Listen, nothing wrong with being a fangirl, okay? Nothing wrong with being a fangirl as long as you are more or less normal about it. You know, if you are super into something and you're not hurting anybody else, you find it to be a source of comfort, you know, a little bit of an escape or distraction from the horrors of reality, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just remember to also try and find things within yourself or your close friends and family that, you know, bring you joy, because being completely dependent on, you know, strangers in the public eye for your happiness is not always great, because you know what happens if the band breaks up or if they get canceled or something like that. Because at the end of the day, you really only have you. So, whew, sorry, it got dark there for a second, but it really is true. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and until next time. Setup today, tripod on top of my rotating disco ball plus box, and ring light hanging off of this, time for your close-up, robot puppy, which actually works great as a ring light holder. In case you didn't want to buy a tripod, you can buy a robot puppy.
You wouldn't understand, okay? You're a woman! Shut up, Sergeant V! Shut up, Sergeant Need V in my V! God, I fucking hate.
Oh my god. Sometimes you get too immersed in the role and it's just